Every year, millions of people in America start their own businesses. Some think about opening a restaurant. Some think about starting a clothing brand. Some want to start a food business. Some open cleaning companies. And some decide to buy a franchise. From the outside, all of this looks amazing. Opening photos on social media, crowds at the grand opening, exciting videos. And for the first few months, it feels like that's it. My life is set. But the truth is, the story doesn't end there. The real story begins after that. A few years later, many businesses have either shut down or the owner is still stuck inside that same restaurant, that same store, or that same business from morning until night. That means the business doesn't create freedom for the owner. It becomes another job. And at the same time, there are people in America running businesses you've probably never even heard of. They don't spend much time showing off their success on social media. They don't appear on business podcasts every day. They don't take photos in front of expensive cars to prove how much money they make. But every month, money keeps flowing into their business accounts. And here's the most interesting part. Their businesses look so boring that if I simply told you their names right now, many people would probably stop watching the video. But that's exactly what makes these boring businesses so interesting. Because where there's less attention, there can often be less competition. And there's a simple rule in business. A problem that people consider boring can be a very valuable opportunity for an entrepreneur. Today, we're going to look at 8 boring but potentially powerful businesses in America. Businesses that don't look glamorous from the outside, but with the right systems, customers, and contracts can create recurring income. And at the end of the video, I'll give you one simple principle that can help you judge almost any business idea in just 30 seconds and figure out whether it has real potential. So let's get started. First, let me introduce you to 2 people, Ryan and Michael. Both of them had around $20,000. Ryan thought, if I'm going to start a business, it should be something people look at and say, wow, what a setup. So he opened a premium restaurant. Beautiful interior, expensive equipment, fancy lighting, an Instagram-worthy wall, great music, branded packaging, and a huge crowd on opening weekend. Photos went up on social media, videos were made. His friends praised him. Everyone thought Ryan has really built something big. On the other hand, Michael started a business that might make people say, wait, people actually make money doing that? No grand opening, no fancy interior, no viral videos, just a small office, a few employees, some contracts, and a boring-looking setup. But 3 years later, Ryan was still at the restaurant himself, sometimes running the kitchen, sometimes dealing with customer complaints, sometimes struggling with staff shortages, and sometimes wondering why sales were down that month. Michael, sometimes he was in Florida with his family, and sometimes he was on vacation in Colorado. Ryan was looking for new customers every single day. Michael had several customers making scheduled payments every month. The difference wasn't talent. It wasn't hard work either. The difference was the business model. Ryan was trapped in the daily hustle. Michael had built a recurring revenue model. And that's the core of today's entire video. Businesses that look boring but can be extremely powerful when it comes to cash flow. Business number 8, commercial cleaning company. Now, that probably didn't sound very exciting, a cleaning company. But that's exactly where the beauty is. The next time you walk into a large office building, hospital, hotel, shopping center, or corporate facility, look around carefully. The floors will be clean. The restrooms will be clean. The glass will be clean. The trash bins will be empty, and the entire building will look well maintained. Now ask yourself, who does all of that? And more importantly, who pays for it? That's the business. In America, there are offices, hospitals, hotels, warehouses, schools, manufacturing facilities, apartment communities. All of these places need regular cleaning. It's not a luxury, it's a basic requirement. And that's one of the biggest strengths of requirement-based businesses. It's not easy for customers to completely ignore the service. The real power of commercial cleaning isn't just cleaning, it's contracts. Let's say a cleaning company gets a 1-year contract with a corporate office. Now, the owner doesn't have to wake up every morning wondering, will I get a new customer today? The contract is already there. The team is already there. The schedule is already there. And the payment structure can already be agreed upon. The owner's job isn't to personally clean every floor. The owner's job is to bring in clients, hire employees, manage schedules, control quality, and run the entire system. Because the customer isn't just paying for clean floors, they're paying to remove a headache. They want to know that when their employees arrive at the office in the morning, the office will be clean and ready. And that's what makes reliability so valuable in this business. Business number 7, pest control company. Now, this probably sounds even less exciting, but ask a restaurant owner whose kitchen suddenly has a cockroach at 10 p.m. and who has a health inspection scheduled for the next day. That person will understand the value of solving that problem immediately. The pest control business runs on urgency. When the problem is urgent, the customer isn't always looking for the cheapest price. They want a solution. In America, restaurants, hotels, warehouses, food facilities, apartment communities, offices, and many commercial properties may need regular pest control services. And here's the interesting part. It's not always a one-time service. It can become a recurring service. Treatment today, a follow-up a few months later, then maintenance, then renewal. That's recurring revenue. And referrals can also be powerful in this business. If you genuinely solve a restaurant owner's or property manager's pest problem, they may not only renew their contract, they may also recommend you to other business owners. And in business, a referral from an existing customer can sometimes be easier than getting a new customer through cold advertising. That's why smart entrepreneurs don't only focus on getting customers, they focus on keeping customers. Because one satisfied customer can generate revenue again and again. Boring from the outside, but from a cash flow perspective, pretty interesting. Business number 6, vending machine business. Now imagine a salesperson that can work day and night, doesn't need a salary, doesn't need a vacation, and doesn't even need to sit inside an office. That salesperson is a vending machine. Today, vending businesses in America aren't limited to traditional office buildings. You can find them in airports, hospitals, universities, apartment buildings, workplaces, and many other high-traffic locations. But there's something even more important than the machine itself: location. Imagine a large office building where thousands of employees work. Someone wants coffee, someone wants a snack, someone wants a cold drink, someone wants a quick breakfast. If the machine is in the right location, customers will come to it themselves. That's the smart part. Today, vending machines aren't limited to chips and soda. Coffee, protein snacks, fresh food, drinks, personal care products, and in many places, micro-market style setups are also being used. But what's the biggest mistake people make? They buy the machine and only then think about the location, when the entire economics of the business can depend on the location. An expensive machine in a bad location can be useless, and a simple machine in a high-traffic location can perform well. So the question in the vending business isn't, how good is my machine? The question is, where is my machine? Business number 5, commercial laundry. Now tell me, would anyone look at a commercial laundry business and say, I want to start one of those? Probably not. No glamorous office, no flashy branding, no viral content. But every morning, the machines turn on and the work begins. Now, think about it. Hotels, hospitals, senior care facilities, gyms, spas, restaurants, businesses that rely on uniforms, they all have one thing in common: clean towels, clean sheets, clean uniforms, clean linens, and most importantly, on time. If a hotel doesn't have clean linens available, its operations can be affected. If a healthcare facility doesn't have the required linens ready, the entire workflow can be affected. That's why commercial laundry isn't just a business about washing clothes. It's an operational service. And for many businesses, outsourcing that service can be more practical. Why? Because the equipment is expensive. There's maintenance. There are water and electricity costs. Employees are needed. Repairs are needed. Space is needed. Management is needed. And most business owners don't want another headache. They want to reduce their headaches. That's the opportunity in the commercial laundry business. You're not just selling laundry, you're selling a reliable service. And if you have recurring contracts with multiple hotels, healthcare facilities, or restaurants, your revenue can become more predictable. That means you don't have to wake up every morning wondering, will I get a customer today? You may already have customers. Now, your job is simply to run the system properly. Business number 4 and business number 3. Business number 4, equipment and tool rental. Now imagine a contractor who needs an expensive piece of equipment for only 10 days. They may not want to own that machine forever. They just need it to complete a project. So they have two options. They can spend thousands of dollars buying the machine, or they can rent it for the period they need it. In many situations, renting can be more practical. And that's the simple idea behind the equipment rental industry. People don't always want ownership. Sometimes they just want access. Today, that same logic exists in software, it's in streaming, it's in co-working, and it's also in equipment rental. Construction projects in America constantly create demand for expensive equipment, but not every contractor wants to buy every machine, because buying equipment comes with maintenance, storage, insurance, depreciation, and the risk of having a machine sitting unused. With the rental model, the customer only pays for the time they need the equipment, and for the owner, that same asset can potentially be rented to multiple customers. If utilization is good, one asset can generate revenue again and again. That's the beauty of this business model. An asset is purchased once, but with the right management, it can generate multiple rental transactions. And that's why many entrepreneurs consider equipment rental an interesting cash flow business. Now we're getting to the top 3, and this is where the game changes a little. So far, we've looked at businesses that involve physical equipment, employees, and local operations. But the models coming next are connected to the everyday needs of people and businesses. And first, understand one thing. The best business isn't always the one that looks the fanciest. Sometimes the best business is the one that solves a real problem, solves that problem again and again, and can reduce the owner's dependence on themselves through systems. Business number 3, water refill and purification services. What was the first thing you used this morning? Your phone? The internet? Coffee? Maybe, but there's one thing almost every human being needs: water. We need it today, we need it tomorrow, we need it next week, and we'll still need it next year. Technology can change, AI can change, apps can change, business trends can change, but the basic need for clean drinking water isn't going away. In America, businesses and facilities may need filtered water, water dispensers, and related services. Offices, gyms, apartment communities, healthcare facilities, schools, workplaces, and other commercial locations. But here's an important difference. The customer doesn't always need a specific bottled water brand. In many situations, they simply need convenient, reliable, and clean water. That's the opportunity. A water purification or refill-based business can install equipment, build a maintenance system, add digital payments, and in some models, create recurring service or rental revenue. But once again, the same rule applies: location. If the system is placed somewhere where there are no customers, then no matter how good the equipment is, the business can struggle. Put the same system in the right location, and the result can be completely different. So don't look at the equipment first, look at the demand. Business number 2, software as a service. Now this sounds a little technical, but the concept is extremely simple. You use many services on your phone or computer, and you pay for them monthly or annually. Cloud storage, accounting software, project management tools, business communication, scheduling software, customer management systems, and much more. Why do these companies like recurring revenue? Because if the customer keeps receiving value, they can keep paying every month or every year. Now imagine this. A gym owner needs to manage members. A medical practice needs to manage appointments. A contractor needs to schedule jobs. A property manager needs to manage tenants and maintenance requests. A small business needs to track invoices and payments. Every business has some kind of boring problem, and that's the most interesting part. Business owners don't always need some revolutionary invention. Sometimes they simply want to get rid of a boring problem. If your software can save a business owner 1 hour every day and let them do the same work in 10 minutes, paying a monthly subscription could be worth it. And one of the biggest strengths of software is scalability. In a physical business, getting 100 new customers might mean a new location, new machines, more inventory, and more staff requirements. But with software, the same product can potentially be distributed to thousands of customers. That's why successful SaaS businesses can create powerful economics as they scale. But why am I not putting this at number one? Because number one isn't a specific business. Number one is a principle. Number one, recurring revenue. If you've been paying close attention to this entire video, you've probably noticed a pattern. Cleaning companies, pest control, vending, laundry, equipment rental, water services, SaaS. They're all different businesses, but they can share one powerful idea: recurring revenue. Now, think about a simple example. Let's say you sell a customer a $1,000 product today. The customer pays and leaves. What do you have to do next month to make money? You have to find another customer, then marketing, then sales, then negotiation, then delivery, and then the entire process starts again. Now imagine a second scenario. A customer comes in, they sign a recurring service contract, and now you receive a payment every month or every quarter, as long as the customer continues receiving value and the contract remains active. Now you don't have to start from zero every month. You simply have to deliver the service, keep the customer happy, and maintain the relationship. That's the difference between one-time revenue and recurring revenue. And business buyers also place significant value on predictable recurring revenue. That's why we see subscription businesses, gym memberships, software subscriptions, maintenance plans, cleaning contracts, pest control plans, water equipment rentals, laundry contracts, and many other recurring service models. A smart entrepreneur doesn't only ask when choosing a business, how much profit does this make? They ask another question: how often will this customer pay? Once or again and again? That small difference can completely change the business model. And that's the most important lesson of this entire video. Rich people don't always run some magical business. Many times, they simply choose a better business model. They don't just chase excitement, they look at cash flow. They don't just chase trends, they build systems. They don't just chase one-time sales, they try to build repeat customers and long-term contracts. Maybe that's why their businesses look boring from the outside, but their financial statements can be pretty interesting. So the next time you see a business idea, don't just ask, is it cool? Ask, does it solve a real problem? Then ask, will the customer pay for it again and again? And then the most important question, can I turn it into a system? If the answer to all three questions is yes, then you don't just have a business idea. You may have a potential business model. A lot of people think successful entrepreneurs know some secret, but sometimes the secret isn't that complicated. They simply notice the problems that everyone else considers too boring to care about, and then they turn that boring problem into a repeatable system. From the outside, less glamour, less attention, less excitement. But on the inside, steady demand, repeat customers, recurring revenue, and strong systems. So the next time you hear about a business idea, don't just look at how much people are talking about it on social media, look at what the business model is. Because in business, the real money isn't always where the loudest applause is. Sometimes the real opportunity is hiding where nobody is paying attention.